Hi guys, I'm Krisi Bastian, adjutant at Chapter 252 in Seminole, Florida. I'm also hoping to take Beverly's position when she's ready to step down, as she's been grooming me for a couple of years now. So your reporting requirements, and all this is going to tie into the chapter of the year, the title of the class, a little bit down the road. But when you do your reporting, it's your miles, your volunteer hours, your chapter's cash donations, and we'll get into that, your officer reporting, your end of year reporting, and your CPR, consolidated post report. First of all, your officer reporting. That should be done before convention. So between the time you have your elections and we get to convention, you should go online and do that officer reporting. It's simple, it takes less than 5 minutes. Okay, it is your post number, your district, your address, your meeting days and times, your dues, and who's your director and assistant director and their contact information. Less than 5 minutes to do that report. As of last week, I only have 104 chapters in the state reporting. So a lot of chapters are a little lax on this, and it's a super important piece of information, not only for you guys to do, but for us, for department, for your area chairs and your district chairs. That's how they know who's in their area or district and how to contact them. So that is a super duper important report. And I'll show you where it is on the website. Am I not giving anything?
There you go.
Because
There you go. There you go.
what miles and hours are reportable? Okay, so all your meetings, all your hours attending those meetings, even here at Summit, conference, convention, your post activities. If you're at the post selling raffle tickets for a rider's raffle basket, the miles it took you to get back and forth to the post and the hours you spent selling those raffle tickets, those all count. If you go shopping for your rider's spaghetti night, that counts. Those hours and miles count. If your writers chapter decides we're going to paint the hall at our post, those miles and hours count. Also the state sponsored rides, the round robin, the merry-go-round, the in-state unity ride, the legacy ride, all of that stuff counts towards your end of year reporting for your miles and your hours and your cash donations. And I'll get into the difference between donations in kind and cash donations. So reporting requirements are your miles. I already did this slide. Okay.
Is this your first time in here?
No, it's my first time in this room.
Yes.
Using
Yeah,
this.
it's the button is reversed.
Okay.
Hit the bottom button, that'll go.
So if you're a member of the SAL or the Legion and you report your hours and miles to them, you cannot report them to the riders. So you have to pick and choose where you're going to report those hours and miles. If you're an auxiliary member like me, I get to double dip. I can report them both places because the auxiliary is its own separate entity, as the riders and the SAL are a program of the Legion. Make sense? Okay, so I'm an Excel whiz. I'm certified in Excel. Sue and Lorian and their app is amazing. But I'm old school, I want my Excel spreadsheet. So there's a spreadsheet on the website that is downloadable. Excuse me, it's got all the formulas and everything in it. I'm gonna show you where it is, what it looks like. Okay, so the spreadsheet, this part up here in the green auto-populates. So you don't have to do anything with that. All you have to do is input your information on your ride or your event down here in the bottom. There's a tab for each month. It will auto-populate the quarters and the end of year to give you your numbers you need for your year-end report and to give to your post for your consolidated post report.
Where's that at?
It is on the department website under Summit Resources, under the Riders Program. So if this is the end of year, you will pull all of these numbers off of here to do your end of year reporting. And this is one of the things I say, if you have all your ducks in a row and this would be one of them, to do your end of year reporting, it shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes. If you're utilizing the tools out there. I input my writer stuff quarterly. I have them give it to me at every meeting. I'm begging them for it at every meeting. I input it quarterly because that's what my schedule allows. So at the end of the year, I don't have a pile of miles and hours like this from all my writers to try to get in before May 1st, May 31st. So the spreadsheet is a super handy tool. And in fact, let's go, we're in February.
You're scrolled way over to the right.
Yep. Okay, so today's date is the 10th. I'm just gonna use the abbreviation for Summit. Now this is a drop-down category, okay? So it's got choices. You can't type your own thing in. So I can pick what category I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna say it was a meeting, okay? How many bikes? Well, let's see, I have 4 bikes from my group here. Each of them have a passenger. I have 4 people in a car. Okay, so there's 12. I didn't really have a road captain. I'm just gonna in general say it was 150 miles. Hours, so we're here for 2 days, I'll say 48 hours.
Is that round trip miles?
It's a false number. Yes, it is round trip miles. From when you left your house till you get back to your house. Okay? So now I've put that in, and you can see up here in the top where it auto-populated under meetings and post activities. If I went to the year-end report, and that was the only thing I put in, there it is. Meetings and post activities cumulative for all the months that I've input. It makes your life so simple. But you have to download it again every single year. So it's available in February to use for your coming year because like the mileage rate changes every year with the federal government, mileage rate, our donations in kind equation changes every year. So download it every year to use for the next year. Again, I talked about Sue and Lorraine's class. They're tweaking that. The mobile app is great. It's going to send all this information to whoever you choose in your chapter to be the administrator to handle all of that information, whether it be the adjutant, the director, the road captain, whoever. Whoever that administrator is going to have to coordinate with whoever does the end of year report to get all that information. But it is going to be a good tool. Again, I'm old school. I like my spreadsheet. Okay, cash donations. That's the finance officer's responsibility. Finance officer should be giving the adjutant finance report after every meeting because it becomes a part of the permanent record with the minutes. So your adjutant will have all the financial information along with the minutes to prepare the end of year report. Cash donations are actual cash that your chapter donates. Okay, not the donations in kind from the spreadsheet I just showed you, actual cash donations. So we had a raffle and a dinner to raise money for Canine Paws for Patriots. The chapter wrote them $1,000 check. It's part of your cash donations. Okay, not donations in kind. How much money did my chapter donate? Again, if you have the finance officer's report from every single month that he's supposed to put with the minutes as a permanent record, you'll have all of that information. If you don't, you need to go see your finance officer and say, hey, how much did we donate this year? Cash donations, okay? I just bought 50/50 tickets down there in the hallway here at Summit. Can I claim that $20 I spent as a donation? Nope. Didn't come out of my chapter account. Came out of my personal pocket. My registration fee that was $20 for Summit, can't claim that either. Came out of my pocket. Now if your chapter paid for your registration fee to come to Summit, guess what? It's a donation. See how that works? It comes out of your pocket, you don't get to claim it. Comes out of your chapter's pocket, absolutely claim it. All right, here's the officer reporting. It's on the website. Excuse me, there is the link where to go find it. Again, it's under programs, riders, and then officer reporting. It's got its own tab over there on the left. It should take you less than 5 minutes. And if your chapter hasn't done it yet, it's not too late. End of year reporting. Same thing, it has its own tab on the left side of the page, easy to find, easy to get to. If you have all your ducks in a row that I've just been talking about, it should take you no more than 15 minutes. All right, so the consolidated post report, either your post commander handles it or your post adjutant handles it. They're gonna ask you for the same information that the end of year report contains, and they have to match. So what I do with my chapter is I cut mine off at the end of April. Okay, so that what I'm turning into the commander is the same as what I'm putting on my end of year report. But what happens to May and June's hours? I roll them into July for the next year. That way I'm sure that those two reports are going to sync and match, because they need to. The only difference in what you're gonna have to give your post adjutant or commander is how many of your members are Legionnaires, how many are SAL, and how many are auxiliary. They need those breakout numbers. You will not need that for your end of year report. That is the one thing that is different. Your post adjutant gets this flyer to remind them to get this information from you. It's not in black and white. It's on an orange or yellow or bright blue piece of paper so that they notice it. So if they're not coming to you and asking you for this, then they're missing something. You need to go to them, hey, I have my stuff for your CPR report. When do you need that? All right, so chapter documentation. We know that there's been an issue with chapter documentation. We also know it's not some of your faults, okay? Department lost stuff. It got stuck in a box, stuck in a storage unit, and nobody knows where it is. So our job now is to either help you find what you have on site or help you recreate it. And that's what we're here for. We want to get all the chapter documentation in the way it is supposed to be. I had a district meeting last Saturday, and I had a couple chapters that it showed they were missing their SOP. I had one guy find it, scanned it in, sent it to me, I forwarded it to the department. Check mark box, now they've got that. Another chapter, it said they didn't have a charter. Their adjutant went back to their post, snapped a picture of it, sent it to me, forwarded it to the department. Check mark, now we've got that. If there is something missing, and your district and area chairs should be getting with you on what is missing for your chapter, we can recreate it. It's under the resources, starting a new chapter, new startup letter, SOPs, standing rules. They all can be recreated, and we may need your help to do so. But again, we know it's not a lot of the chapter's faults that this stuff is missing, but our goal is to get it. Chapter of the Year Award, which ties into all this reporting. Chapter of the Year Award, you get points for Summit, Round Robin, Unity Ride, Convention, Fall Conference, Merry-Go-Round, and Round Robin. Okay? Getting your officer reporting done, getting your end of year reporting done, getting your CPR information in, and your miles, hours, and cash donations. All that makes up the contingency to win Chapter of the Year. But it's weighted, so this is really good. Even a chapter that has 24 members could win the small member category of Chapter of the Year if they have a lot of people participating in the specific events I just named. So, number of riders at the event multiplied by the weight of the event, and all events are weighted at 5, equals your score for the event. So I have 6 riders here at Summit, 5 points each. I just got 30 points for being here at Summit. Then I take 5 times how many miles we did, times how many hours we were here, times cash donations we made, if we presented any donations while we were here. Then I divide that by my total number of members, which would be 54. Okay, then you get the score. So that means even large chapters like Lady Lake can compete with tiny little chapters like Mulberry. It's all fair, and it's divided into categories the size of your chapter. There's small, medium, and large. There's a spreadsheet used to calculate it, and if you look at this one, you can see chapter 1, 2, 3 had 6 people at Summit, 10 people on the Unity ride, and you go across, but they only have 50 members. All right, look at their score, 1598.6. Chapter 1, 2, 4 had 10 people at Summit, but they've got 100 members to divide by. So they've only got 1154. So it shows you how the math calculation works. So it's fair across the board with all the chapters because of the way it's weighted. It's weighted based on participation. So the idea of chapter of the year is to increase participation, promote consistency and understanding in both the way it's added up and the size of the chapter. It can be flexible based on what department feels the needs are, if they need to put more weight on a certain event than on another. The tool is used at the department level, can be used at your chapter level to say, hey guys, we want to go for this chapter of the year, let's get more people to participate and go to Summit. Let's get more people to do the Unity Ride. So it can be used as a motivating factor. And previously, chapter of the year was subjective, to say the least. It was based on an essay, kind of a narrative, and maybe if your chapter got something in the newspaper, and it just wasn't really fair. So doing it this way makes it fair for everybody, no matter how far out in the sticks you are, or what downtown city you're in, or how many members you have. So again, there's 3 categories: small, 6 to 30 members, medium, 31 to 60, and large, 61 to 100. That's based on your total members paid in good standing on your books.
At the time of convention.
At the time of convention, correct. So last year's winners, small was Homestead, medium was Marathon, and large was Beverly Hills. Wasn't even Lady Lake, the largest chapter in the state. So you see how the weighting and the participation can work both ways. So, and then they broke it down into who scored, and personally I'm pretty proud because my chapter had never been on the board before. We're 6th in the medium category because we finally got people up and participating and doing things. So like I said, it can be a real motivating factor within your chapter. The whole presentation, the spreadsheets I showed you, even the calculation for chapter of the year, if you're just curious to do it on your own, they're all out there on the website under the Summit Resources. You can download this whole slideshow, the spreadsheets I showed you, everything is out there. Anybody have any questions?
Don't really understand donations in kind.
That is used as our voice in Congress. So all the hours and miles that you put in convert to what's called donations in kind. That goes to department, to go to national, to give us a voice in Congress. We put this much time and energy in that equates to this amount of money. You need to listen to us.
And for hours in kind, they calculated like $26 an hour.
I'd have to go back and look on the spreadsheet what it is this year.
Yeah,
Because I haven't,
I heard somebody say that the other day.
That could be right. I don't know exactly what it is. I have to get in the spreadsheet and see what the formula says. So, anybody else?
So that would be based upon that ratio, the calculation that you're talking about, the spreadsheet. Is that the data that we provide to our commander? Or are we actually saying we've only ridden 1,000 miles? Or are we using the calculation based upon the spreadsheet?
You're using what comes up on the end of the year of the spreadsheet.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, that calculation is where you get that number from for both the CPR and your end of year report.
Minus the dollars. The donations, the cash donations isn't from that spreadsheet. The
Oh,
cash
it's on there.
donations,
It's on there. Wait, so. donations in kind. No, you're gonna get that from your finance officer's
Yeah.
report. You are correct. Now, on mine, under the comments section, I'll put that, so that I have it for myself. If I know the director, this was a poker run and the director gave him a $500 check, I put that in the comments section, so I have the notes for me.
Smart.
Anybody else?
So do we get points docked off for the CPR? Obviously, it has to match the end of year reporting, but let's say our post commander is fighting with other individuals to get that CPR in on time and it's a couple days late. Do we get points
No,
docked?
you're deducted if
It's
they
different.
don't match,
Okay.
if they're different. That's the way the points would be deducted.
Okay,
Is if you told the commander we had 100,000 miles, but when you did your end of year report, you only said you had 90,000 miles. If they don't match, that's where you get those points.
okay.